This is WPSL Port Saint Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones who all along encourage you to like and share them on social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because it's time for Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World and hosted by Joanne Seeger.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's having an incredible morning. I am thrilled to be here. You know, I love talking and I love my audience, so thank you. And we're going to do some breath work this morning, sir.
Some breathing?
I got to do some breathing.
Breathing's essential. You know.
All right, so let's do the 5-second one, but let's do it really fully like a box breathing method. So that's my favorite breath work. And for any newbies, super easy. Just breathe in through your nose for 5, hold for 5, out for 5, and then hold for 5. So just think of the 4 sides of a box.
Yeah.
Now, if 5 is a little too much, you can make it 4. This morning I need a 5 count, okay?
Me too.
You know, and if 4 is too much, do 3. Just anything's better than nothing, okay? And so we'll do 3 rounds. So remember the 4 sides, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 in through the nose, hold for 5, out through the nose, hold for 5.
Okay, and
Okay.
do it a total of 3 times?
3 times.
3 rounds.
Yep.
Okay.
I need lots of breath, okay?
Now everybody,
Help focus, help your body relax, and get that stress out.
let it all
okay?
out with one breath now. All out. Exit. Are you ready to begin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2,
You
3.
forgot the hold.
Hold. Oh, did you hold?
Yeah,
Ah.
you gotta hold,
Let's,
and
let's,
then
okay, let's hold first.
Yep.
In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release.
oh
2.
no, now in.
In. Okay. Wow.
It's
I really
it's
need
a
this
mental
this
thing,
morning.
right? So
Yeah.
there we go.
Okay.
So,
Once we're out,
okay.
we're out. Let's go in again. Ready?
Okay.
In 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in.
Hold.
Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Then in.
Then release. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3. Did I do it again?
You forgot the hold. Okay, so
You
this
have
is
to
what we're
hold
gonna
after
do.
we let
I'm
it
gonna
out.
be the counter,
That's
and
what
you're
it
gonna
is.
do the exercise because I think you need it more than me today.
Yes. Oh
All right,
my
ready?
gosh.
So
Let me sit
everyone, drop
cross-legged
your
and
shoulders,
let me do my
relax your
fingertips.
eyebrows, relax your ears, and for more concentration, more mental stability, lowering blood pressure. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
All right.
It really works, folks.
Okay,
It really
sir.
does.
So close your eyes. All right, breathe in through your nose for 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold. Don't exhale out anything. 3, 2, 1. Now exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now inhale again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, the control and the real emphasis on breath work is the exhales and the hold.
Yep.
Right? Because when we stress breathe, we're constantly like, we know we can get air and it's like,
Is this the
but
one
it's
that's
that
also?
controlled.
Is that the one the Navy SEALs do?
Yes,
Okay.
it's still done today. There is doctors all around the world that still use this, whether they're pulmonologists or just therapists, psychologists. Breath work is really getting amazing results in research, and that's why I try to make it about every show, because we overlook the things that are free.
Well, you
The
know what?
things that are free are more beneficial than anything that you can really buy. It's things that we possess naturally, that we're born with, that we can use without spending a dime.
I've been under the observation of many doctors, most recently in the last several years, and I've spoken with them about breath work, and they know what I'm talking about, and they say
Absolutely.
that that's great, and they do it. And
Yeah.
and when I heard that, it's like, you mean the nutrition world and the medical world shake hands here?
Right. And they can't, like, roll their eyes at this anymore.
Nope.
Same thing with meditation.
Yeah.
No matter what you want to call it, when you quiet the body and the mind and just let it relax and just let it be calm, miracles can happen. And whether you give yourself 30 seconds or 30 minutes, you just start wherever you're able to start. And the breath work, like, I already feel better. Like, just giggling at you, keep messing up.
That's all right.
Actually, it made me unfortunately feel a little better, because
Yeah.
laughing is
'Cause you could do it
really
and I couldn't.
contagious. Yeah. And it's contagious to
Laughter-
laugh and feel good.
Laughter's good medicine.
Yep, and peppermint also helps you. Like, so when I feel like a little overwhelmed or my head pressure, I'll use peppermint. Like, anyone that has gone into my store knows that I love peppermint. I have it in 2 diffusers. The store always smells like peppermint. Even when you open the door, you smell it in the hallway. All my neighbors are like, "Oh, I love the peppermint." It's cooling, it's uplifting, it helps you focus, it's great for headaches. This morning I put an extra dose in, so my eyes are a little teary-eyed.
Yeah.
But it really does help change your state and get you into a different state of mind.
Funny you
We-
should mention that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because over the weekend, I was rummaging through the cabinets looking for some tea. I knew we always have some tea up there, and it was herbal peppermint tea.
Oh, I love peppermint tea.
And the way I make it with really, really, really hot water and dunk that little tea bag in there real
Yeah.
good, it was very calming and refreshing
Isn't it?
for me. Yeah.
And it's really, I just love it. Especially, it's great for digestion. So if you have a too heavy of a meal, peppermint tea is an incredible. One thing that it's funny that you mentioned about the hot water. Most people don't steep their tea long enough. If you look at directions, it will say 13 minutes or longer. I see people all around, whether they get it at a restaurant or at a friend's house, they'll put the tea bag in and they'll start sipping it like in 2 minutes. And I'm like, wait, the flavors haven't even come out yet. The medicinal qualities haven't even come into the water yet, because water is a phenomenal extractor of the most amazing things. And so if you let that tea sit longer and maybe just put a little cover over it, man, the flavors and the aromas are incredible.
Well, I was astounded. I was working with an Asian technician, one of those high-tech guys, and he would put a cup of water in the microwave for 2 minutes, and then he'd sip it. And I asked him, "What are you doing that for?" And he said, "It's good for me." And I tried it. It reminded me of tea without any tea in it.
So it's just hot water?
Just hot water.
Okay.
And he'd do this every day. He'd drink it was a big coffee cup, but he put water in and microwaved it for like 2 minutes, and just kind of walks around sipping on it.
Well, that's definitely healthier than most of the things that we put in
Healthier
our
than-
coffee cups.
Yeah, and
Yes.
stuff that you buy bottled drinks that are carbonated.
Absolutely. And I'm going to touch on that later, but I do want to emphasize what we're discussing right now, because when you're in a funk, whether you're feeling angry, sad, confused, just not feeling yourself, use your senses. Use all those free things that you have been given. So your ears, put on the best music that you love. Don't put on a sad song that you know is going to make you cry, unless you want to be cathartic and just really purge, right? But you want to put something on that brings you to an amazing state, right? You want to smell something that brings pleasant thoughts to you. You want to, maybe give yourself a little self-massage, put your favorite cream or oil or just a little tickle touch. You want to look at something that brings you joy. If you want to change your state, you can do it yourself, but you have to use all your senses. Or the opposite, you have to go into a meditation and kind of close off your senses and just focus on breathing. And that will also, after about, a good 3 minutes, which the first few minutes are difficult when you're in a state that doesn't feel comfortable to you, but it really does work. Really does work. I'm going to talk about the new location, and that's why I'm bringing this all up this morning.
Ooh, that's
I'm on a
right.
major learning curve with Port Saint Lucie. I've always been in Fort Pierce, and I love the people in Fort Pierce. So, a shout out to all my locals. They have treated me so well throughout the 20 years. They've never made anything difficult. They've kind of spoiled me. They really have. And so when I talk about Fort Pierce, and the cities and everything, I always get positive conversations about it because that's my experience. So like attracts like. And this is a perfect example with Port St. Lucie. It's not going so well, with the second location. I'm learning new things. I have to adapt what I know from what my past experience was, right? So I am attracting people that are going through the struggle too, and it's just making more of that negative momentum, which I don't like. When I'm feeling, I've learned enough throughout 40 years and the tools that I use when I'm coaching that when you are in a negative state, the last thing you want is agreement. The last thing you want is momentum in that same state. If you want a different outcome, you have to pivot and get away from the momentum. So every time I was bringing up, oh yeah, the permit, oh my gosh, I'm not getting along with this gentleman, and oh, this is happening, and they want this and they want that money, and all of a sudden I'm getting more of that. And then does that help me? No, it just makes me get more negative, more upset, more sad, more frustrated, more impatient. So, what's funny is that when I didn't discuss the negative aspects of opening up a second location in Port St. Lucie, I was with a gentleman that does windows, and he's like the guy in charge of permitting. He's like, oh man, I love Port St. Lucie. It's such an awesome when I have a job in Port St. Lucie. They make it so easy for me. It gets done so quickly. So here I was like, oh, awesome. I'm attracting what I need because I don't want people that emphasize that it's going to be forever. I want the ones that say, oh no, Port St. Lucie knows what they're doing. They're going to get it done, and I had a phone call this morning, which was that kind of phone call. The guy is like, okay, and I'm going to put his name on the air, Elijah, so if you're going to open up a business in Port St. Lucie, contact Elijah first. He has a course to teach you before you sign your lease what to do. I should have taken it. And he's a great guy, easy to communicate with, very professional. So that's what I mean. When you really want to change your state, sometimes we don't, right? Oh, especially with politics, where we want our little gathering of all the stuff that we're thinking and saying and believing, and we just want it just to be rolled into this great big ball. But if your body is stressed because of it, your blood pressure is being affected, it only hurts you. So, change your momentum if you can, by using your senses or doing that meditation. It really does work. All right. So, yeah, so let's just say that September 16th is a date I have in my head for Port St. Lucie location. For all my listeners that are hoping for this date too, all the energy around and prayers for September 16th is so appreciated. All right, and now another story. I brought my daughter to the urgent care. Well, ER. It's
Oh.
not something we do often. She's 14, but she lifted her nail. So
Ooh.
it it looked pretty yucky. And I got a phone call from her high school nurse, and it's her first year in this high school, and the nurse was so sweet. She was so sweet, but she gently kind of said, hey, mom, you need to pick her up because this looks really painful. And,
Yes.
I didn't want to be, well, I don't really believe in hospitals or doctors. So, which I do believe in them in emergencies, but
Yeah.
just I don't want to waste their time if it's
Hmm.
something that can be done at home.
Especially when it's something as easy as something that
Yeah.
heals back completely all by
Exactly.
itself.
If there's something that they can do quickly, then I'm all about visiting. But I don't really want to waste 2 hours of a precious day and then, no, sorry, you just got to wait, right? So I did, the nurse gave me that impression like that she's going to think I was a bad mom if I didn't come. So, little pressure there. So I went and got her. We brought her into the emergency room. And I gotta say, for tradition, the emergency room, I think they just went through some changes because they were all about customer service. Wow,
Ah,
they were so attentive, like overly attentive. How are you today? Da 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 da, right? And they give you these little like postcards that tell you what to expect in the emergency room.
hmm,
And of course, I'm like eavesdropping on every conversation because, I'm curious. Why are people coming in and what are outcomes? And what I noticed that there was one person piercing headache and fatigue, and then another person super nauseous and as I'm watching all the steps, because I was there for the front counter while they're doing the vitals, and then when they were brought into the hallway, because I guess they do the hallway position unless you're needed much more urgent for a room. And so I listened to the when the physician's assistant came to them and when the doctor came to them. And do you know all these people that were complaining about the headaches, the nausea, the thing? Did they ask them at all, like, or check their blood sugar? No, I even asked because I was super curious. I was like, you don't test any of the patient's blood sugar? Like, no, not normally. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, blood sugar could be a number one cause for headaches or muscular fatigue or nausea. So I shut my mouth and I just kept observing. And then did they ask him about what they ate that day? Did you have a lot of coffee? Are you dehydrated or nothing? They didn't ask him at all, like what they did that day,
they're looking for a
So
medical answer versus the
yeah,
nutritional
all they
answer.
did is just they took blood. Like they had like all the different people come, check your insurance, do your address, all that stuff, and then over the period of about an hour and a half to 2 hours, all I saw that was done was blood work. Blood
Yeah.
work. I'm like, guys, can we like go back to old fashioned, like, look at the eyes, look at the mouth, look at the skin, let's check about what you ate, let's check your blood sugar.
They can find a lot of stuff when they do blood work because they run it through. They have a vial for several
Oh
different. They're
yeah.
going to do several different blood
Yep.
tests, and when you get the results of all of those, they know what kind of medications you're going to use. But that's the
Yeah.
only thing they know how to do is medications
Yeah, a
and
lot of
stuff.
meds and normally antibiotics because people don't want to walk away after 2 hours with nothing. And that's on them because I
Yeah.
definitely and I got to tell you, like my father-in-law works at Tradition as a physician and they are great people and they know their business. And again, they were super awesome, especially with my daughter. They were great. But it was, yeah, like, and of course she got two antibiotics and an ibuprofen, and she's looking at me like, "Mom, what are antibiotics and ibuprofen?"
Well, they are not
And
nutritional
and I
supplements.
said, "Well, I said, you see how your finger is a tiny bit pink?" And I was emphasizing a tiny bit pink.
Yeah.
They're worried that you might get an infection.
Right.
And I gave her the choice. I said, I want you to read the side effects on the antibiotics and the ibuprofen, and if you choose to do them, I will support you because I do have an ex-husband, her dad. And I said, but if you'd like to go mommy's way, I would use colloidal silver, and you wouldn't get any upset stomach. You wouldn't have to worry about killing your vital bacteria that's already at a loss in your gut.
Pineapples are natural antibiotic,
Anti-inflammatory too. Yeah,
anti-inflammatory. Oh,
anti-inflammatory, bromelain. Yeah, it's incredible.
wow.
So she understood, and let's just say she made the right choice, my little girl. Yeah, especially the ibuprofen, the side effects on that stuff. Oh, horrific. But yeah, so if you're looking to go into the emergency room, I really want to emphasize that ask your friend, your spouse, your coworker, do like a quick check-in with you, did you just drink like a real big sugary drink? Some of these breakfast drinks are like 85 grams of sugar. They are going to make your body feel like it's dying. You're going to have a quick spike and then you could get a headache, muscular fatigue, dizziness. These are all absolutely possible vision changes. Or the opposite, you're used to drinking these really caffeinated or sugary drinks, and one morning you don't, you can feel like a truck hit you.
Yeah.
Because you're going through not only caffeine withdrawal, but you're going through sugar withdrawal. So if you first just kind of rule out some of the simpler things, you might not have to waste, a couple hours in any ER or urgent care. You have to, I think they say that out of, like, I'm going to just guess numbers here, like 56 million hospital visits a year, only like 2% are necessary. Yeah, it's like a really low number that are actual emergencies, like, heart attack, strokes, but something that's not preventable at home.
If you ever spend any time in an emergency room, you'll see all kinds of people coming in with all kinds of ailments, and some of them are not really severe emergencies.
No, and that's the thing is that, our healthcare costs are going sky high, and that could be another
Clogs the
conversation.
system, yeah.
But yeah, it's really like, look at urgent cares now. They're on every corner. They're everywhere, and they're not cheap, even with insurance. So, just definitely check in with yourself. Did you eat differently or have you not eaten? Check your sugar. Nowadays, you can buy sugar monitors for $20. It doesn't mean you're a diabetic, but you might have over binged on it or you're withdrawing from it. Caffeine. I had a client yesterday and he was really worried. He was feeling really off. He was having frequent urination and he was really getting nervous. And I said, well, let's just sit down and talk about the basics first before we think of something like real serious or life-threatening. And so tell me what you're doing. Well, I'm enjoying green tea now. And so he's drinking green tea in the afternoons and the evening besides his coffee in the morning. And he's doing a lot of like those fruit salads and like oatmeal and orange juice. So basically, when we did the equation, he's taking in so much glucose from what he believes is natural, healthy sources that all this water comes with it. And then all this caffeine that he's consuming from the morning all the way up to bed is having to excrete that because it's dehydrating. So you're going to be up urinating all night. And again, like if you tell most people his diet, they would think, wow, that's awesome. Super oatmeal with lots of fruit, orange juice, just 1 cup of coffee, few cups of green tea. It seems better than most, which it is. But if you already have an inflamed system that's not in balance, that dehydration of the caffeine will make you go to the restroom, 10 times that night.
What about these 100% real fruit drinks that are offered in the grocery stores?
Oh, I call them poison. I don't
Poison?
know. Should I go any further?
Well,
So,
no, go ahead.
so most people, and he actually said this, okay? He said, but Joanne, I need the juice and the fruit because it helps my heart. So that is what marketing executives want you to believe. They put all these, heart stamps on something or cholesterol friendly on things that need to be sold.
Almonds are not cholesterol free. Almonds.
Yeah. So almonds are totally healthy. So we'll
totally
talk
healthy.
about that next.
Okay.
So when it comes to fruit, so this is the thing. We were never meant to ingest too much at a time. We're meant to ingest it with the flesh, the skin, everything that the entire fruit has. And so if we were going to do, say, grapes, we probably do maybe a good sized bowl or a good handful, and then we get full because the fiber from the skin, the pulp, and everything would make us feel satisfied and full. But if you get grape juice, okay, even the ones that are not adding anything, okay, they are concentrating like a whole bag of grapes that you would never eat at a table, and now you're going to like some of the, depending on the serving size. So a tiny little glass is about 30 grams of sugar. Now look at what's sold in the markets. They're at least 10, 12 ounces on the small side. Most of them are 16 ounces. Now you're getting to like 50 grams of sugar. And how they get you to still consume it is they split the serving size, but no one ever notices it. It says serving size 2 per container. So most people drink the whole thing thinking, oh, it's only 30 grams sugar, but it's 60 because there's 2 servings. And all the nutritious stuff, part of the fruit, is gone. All that they're doing is pressing the flesh. So the skin that has all the nutrients and the fiber, that's gone, just like they do with our bread system. And they are also marketing things that are popular. So they'll throw some, chemicalized pesticide filled turmeric in some drinks and say, hey, we're going to charge, $9 for this little drink because it has turmeric in it. It's a complete waste of your money. It really is. I say that the beverage industry is owned by huge corporations that know what you want, they know what your taste buds are attracting, and it has no health benefits whatsoever. If you, even kombucha, which I love and I used to sell tons of, I mean, that is meant to be used medicinally, small little servings, not drinking, a whole one. And I get into it too, when I want something fizzy or different, I get into that. But you've got to be really careful with the beverage industry, and I mean, we can even talk about water for a whole hour. Just really, it's not, to me, it's not worth the money. I would save that money for something more special. So, almonds. Let's talk about
Oh yeah,
almonds. All right.
because
So,
you tipped something to me just now about that almond thing, because I've been told by my doctors that avoid almonds, but they used to say avoid eggs, and the cholesterol in the eggs
yes.
sort
So
of
they must have
stiffens
had a
them.
different reasoning. I know you've been through a lot in the last couple of years. So, is your thyroid okay?
Yes.
Okay. So usually they say no almonds if you have thyroid issues. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I can't imagine why they would say that to you. Okay. What about your gallbladder? Is your gallbladder
I still
okay?
have a gallbladder.
Okay.
I don't have tonsils.
All right. There we go. So honestly, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why he was on the no almond
Because I
bandwagon.
love almond milk, especially,
All right, so
I
I'll
can,
tell you the bad parts,
okay.
okay? So almonds now is becoming a huge industry. Over the last 10 years, almond milk and almond beverages and almond everything has really increased. And with that becomes all nuts attract molds and funguses. All nuts, okay? And so they have to, even organic, they have to use some type of spray to stop that molding process, or else they're going to lose major, major money in those vats. And they're also, the problem is all the, so he might have been a bee lover. Okay, I'm a bee lover. We can't have a planet without bees. So what our mission is to teach people that if you buy the almonds, the way that we're consuming them, the bees have to pollinate the almonds to make them get created.
Okay.
Okay? So all these bee people are transporting their bees to especially California where the major almond produced, right? But all the pesticides are on the almond fields. And so
Oh,
now these bees are consuming the pesticides and dying. Okay, so
wow.
it's much more than just almonds, but that's the biggest push right now is that if we stop, over consuming all this almond products, then the bees won't have to work so hard and consume all these pesticides. Now, it's much more elaborate of a story than this. I'm really simplifying it, but so maybe that was his take. He had just read an article that morning about the bees and the almond fields, because it has been first, frontline news for a while, at least in my industry. But almonds and all nuts should be used conservatively. They're never meant to be a main meal. They're always meant to be an accent. So as far as peanut butter, not a real nut, and definitely not on my pro list. It's definitely a con, especially all these moms that give their kids peanut butter. I definitely say, please be careful. That's why it's such an allergen, because our body, especially the gallbladder, the bile ducts, it can't handle that concentrated nut. Same thing when they do almond butters or hazelnut butters. We're not meant to consume all those nuts at one time. Just like the grapes, if we sat down and ate all those nuts, oh, we would be feeling it. We would, our gallbladder would start screaming and we would be like holding over a little bit. It's not a fun feeling. So nuts in moderation. And if you do the almond milks, try to buy organic so you're supporting the non-pesticide fields. Sound good?
This reminds me about a lot of the times when I was grossly overweight, I'd have a lot of liver inflammation.
And that's gallbladder too. So the line that you're pointing at right now, so Cliff is pointing. So if you are at your desk and you like kind of lean forward right below that line, that's where we call crossover pain. So that's really the gallbladder. A lot of times, so the gallbladder and liver are like, brother and sister, right? They work together. The liver makes this bile, the gallbladder is supposed to secrete it to deactivate poisons, to digest fats. And the biggest myth is don't eat fat when your gallbladder hurts. The gallbladder loves fat. It just doesn't love processed seed oils, fake fats, all the fake food. But it's meant to have, like, even the animal saturated fat, the gallbladder's okay with that. So that crossover pain, the trick to that, and I tell people, you keep this with you, bile salts or anything bitter. So I keep my Dr. Berg's gallbladder formula with me. So if I have to go to a restaurant and they have a lot of processed seed oils, most restaurants use like a vegetable oil, corn oil, canola oil in everything. Their salad dressings, they're frying, they're sauteing, and those are really difficult for the gallbladder to handle. So if you take the any bile salts, again, Dr. Berg's is really famous. I'm also in Port Saint Lucie location. I'm carrying it from Jarrow as well. That will really help save your gallbladder and stop that horrible crossover pain.
You mentioned anything bitter now, those herbs.
Yeah, so Andrographis is my number one seller for this. It's very economical. It's been around for 5,000 years. It's the king of bitters. Andrographis is famous for immune system, especially during COVID. It had, excuse me, animal studies, computer model studies, mice studies, but it's really famous in my world for liver. Let me clear my throat. Okay, there we go. I couldn't find the button. Yeah, we're not human. We don't cough. So Andrographis in my world is famous for liver function. And so, because anything bitter is great to fight cancer, it's great for the liver, and of course immune. And so again, if we don't overthink it, it's just great to help the body do what it already does, because there's, quadrillions of processes that we're completely unaware of that happen every single second. And so if we get out of the way, just give the body lots of nutrients, rest, and all that good stuff, then we're doing something good.
I've noticed the rest does help. A lot of the long wait, different medical procedures have different recovery levels. And when it came to the groinal hernia, was a harder recovery than the quadruple bypass surgery was, because it just seemed to take so long. I mean, with the heart surgery and all that kind of went pretty fast.
Right.
But the recovery on the other was really very, very nasty.
And it's funny because as I'm looking at you point, like when you pointed to where your hernia was, right? It's the core, like, right? When you
Yeah.
point to it, it's the core of your whole body.
Yeah.
And that's why it took so long, and that's why you needed so much rest. And I tell people that, like, and that's why I get a little frustrated with cesarean sections, because they expect these moms to be like, breastfeeding or feeding their babies and cleaning and cooking and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, this is a major surgery in the core of the body, the core. So you've got to be really careful when anything happens in the core of the body. I mean, that is like the word core. You have to heal it and you have to have rest. I mean, right? So many doctors will, if you come back and your skin is pink, or you look like you're getting an infection, or you're feverish, or you don't feel well, the first question they'll ask, have you been resting? Like, have you been resting? Because if you're trying to go to work, or you're trying to run errands, or you're trying to just do chores around the house, you're not resting. And most of us think like, okay, we can't. We feel so unsettled resting, like our minds are making us a little frantic inside. And so it's really critical when you're told to rest, or your body showing any signs of stress, rest. And that could be going out in the sun and closing your eyes for 10 minutes. It could be going to bed earlier. I am doing so much better ever since we did back to school time. I was fighting to try to stay on my same schedule for the summer, which was staying up to about 10:20. To me, that was absolutely adult reasonable. I try to tell my clients, if they're struggling with any physical issues, to be in bed by 10, because that's when the hypothalamus repairs the body. And I'll go over the hypothalamus in a second. And then I was like, you know what? I had to take my own advice, but I was trying for 10 and that wasn't enough. I was trying for 9:30, that wasn't enough. So now I go to bed at 9, and how incredible an hour and 15 minutes makes a difference, because I am so much more rested. I get much better sleep on the earlier hours, and that is when the body repairs itself, and the liver, the kidney, everything is cleaning and rebuilding. So you try it. I mean, if you really fight to stay up for a program, or to keep watching movies, that you will be pushing your body, and then you'll get nervous exhaustion. And then by the time you get to the pillow, your body is so stressed and is so frazzled that you won't get that deep regenerative sleep that your body needs.
I had been sleeping on my side all my life, but
Like the fetal position?
no, just on the left or the right side.
Okay.
And but I had problems with it because my arm would go to sleep and that's uncomfortable. So I've learned to fall asleep on my back. Now, once I'm asleep, if I move, that's okay. But as far as going to sleep, and it doesn't take me but maybe 2 minutes to fall asleep.
Now, has Karen said anything about, are you a mouth breather or snoring?
No, once in a great while I snore, but once in a while she does too, and it depends on. I think it has something to do with the way you're lying there.
Yes, so I listened to a TED talk about a sleep specialist. He has spent his whole life, over 40 years, just in the sleep field. And he says the fetal position is the healthiest position on your left. And when you're pregnant, usually your doctor will tell you that. So please always lay on the left. It's the healthiest for the baby. You encourage more circulation. And so I've been trying to follow that. And it does, so what you do, instead of just laying on your side, you literally crunch a little bit more. And so if you ever want to try it, you won't usually get that arm numbness, or having that arm feeling like it's falling asleep.
Well, now we know where a slogan came from. Waking up on the wrong side of the bed.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm definitely always been a side sleeper, so it was easy for me. But I know, like, my husband sleeps on his back, and they say that's fine as long as you're not mouth breathing or snoring, because then you're not getting the oxygen you need and the rest. So yeah, interesting.
When I get clobbered with a pillow in the middle of the night, that's when I assume, oh, I must have been snoring. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I always joke with Matt, he builds a pillow fort. So when I met him, he would have this whole row of like 9 pillows because his acid reflux was so bad. Now, thankfully, with using all the holistic methods, he doesn't sleep with any pillow anymore. But he loves pillows, so he puts them kind of between us, because if not, he's right next to me. And yeah, I call him, he's a little warm. And I'm like, oh no, like, because you need a cold temperature to get the most restful sleep. So it's not like I don't love my husband, but his body temperature is so much warmer than mine. And I'm postmenopausal. I should be warmer.
Yeah, but maybe a little cool air doesn't hurt.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to mention about the hypothalamus before I forget. So I did a whole show on the hypothalamus, and I love the hypothalamus. A lot of us forget about the hypothalamus. It's not something that we see in the mirror. It's not like our heart, where we get concerned about our kidneys or our liver or our colon. But the hypothalamus is this beautiful little gland in our head that controls everything. I call it the orchestrator of the symphony. So anything that you can think of, your mood, your libido, your appetite, your metabolism, I mean, anything, your temperature, the hypothalamus is involved in it. And the hypothalamus loves to be rested. So if it's stressed out and if you're pushing, pushing, pushing and not getting your proper rest or movement and circulation, it really doesn't perform well. So you really want to give your hypothalamus some love. And love is actually something that the hypothalamus reacts to. So have you ever seen
Like a
on social
medicine?
media where it says you need to hug like 4 or 7 people a day? I can't remember the number. But that's because of the hypothalamus. So the connection, when you hug someone, you're resting your sympathetic system, which regenerates your hypothalamus to perform better, right? And they also say meditation, dancing, listening to music, just the act of love, so I assume they mean love making, all helps the hypothalamus. Isn't that a cool gland?
I'd say.
When I talked about it on the radio, I was picturing my mom, because she was a hospital switchboard operator. And just like any other human, if us 8 kids, overworked her, she'd go into work tired. And, she was a little slower with making the connections, but if she came in there happy and rested, she was fast, so any of the emergencies that came in, she was quick on that. But, or if she had to drag me to work, which she did a lot of nights, because I didn't have someone to watch me, I would watch her, and if she got distracted or, someone made her angry, which my mom never got angry, she was amazing, amazing human. And that's probably why they put her at that job, because she had real controlled emotions and she could make those switches. So the hypothalamus really does work on its own, but it loves to be cared for. It loves to be nurtured, loved, and sleep and all that good stuff. Oh, I feel like so this is exactly what I needed to do today, sir, because, it's just really like I talk about frequencies and emotions a lot on my day-to-day at the store with customers. And I really feel that that is what true health is, more than taking supplements. I know I sell supplements and I'm thankful for supplements. I mean, they pay my rent.
There's another
But
thing that helps you a lot
yeah,
too.
go ahead.
You like what you do and you believe in what you do.
Absolutely.
That's what makes you happy.
110%. I mean, I see it, I feel it, I know it. I am absolutely sure. And it's just, if anyone tries to argue with me that frequencies aren't real, I'm like, come on. Like, every single thing on earth has a vibration, everything.
Yep.
And the things that really we notice, like love, joy, excitement, those are higher frequencies. And it's not a coincidence that things like anger, fear, guilt, those are really low frequencies,
You're getting
right?
into physics now.
Exactly. And I always tell people, like, my machine is in the quantum physics world. And I am not a physicist, but I know how to read what it says. Oh, yesterday when I got the news from the permit inspector, it really made me super sad. And I said, okay, I'm going to use my machine to help me change my state.
There you go.
And I have done this reading for years now, and it's always pretty good, like what the levels are. My levels were so low. There was one that I could barely see. And I even showed Diane, my employee. I said, Diane, look at this. This has never been this low. So I listened to the frequencies that bring more happiness, joy, contentment. And it's funny, when I ran, it also said fear was kept coming up for me. And of course, fear of not opening in time, fear of not getting the money back for the rent.
Always
Of
a bad
course.
factor.
Yeah, so it's always about fear. It's not that I'm mad at the permit guy. I'm more fearful because it's not opening. So anyways, so I listened to for about 35 minutes all the frequencies that are the higher state frequencies, and then I reran myself again, and now everything was up. And I felt better. Like I didn't feel like I was wanted to be upset, or I didn't feel angry anymore. I was more like I have to take responsibility for what I did wrong, And that's the hardest part, right? As a human, to really just stop being mad and pointing the finger and just kind of going, okay, I could have done that better. I could have, did more homework and learn more. And it's hard to admit that. Oh gosh, it's especially, as a mom, it's really tough to really just really learn things and admit that you need to learn them.
Well, you could change the whole world that way, because what we need now is some kind of a supplement that allows us to not be so offended over everything.
Well, so I always take note when I feel like I'm in a different state, what my body craves. And the first thing that it wanted was ashwagandha. And the second thing was Angziocalm. So these are very popular supplements throughout the world. But ashwagandha, if you don't have it in your home, you definitely want to,
What was the other one?
especially if you have teenagers. Ashwagandha, Ashwaganda, ashwagandha. And ashwagandha has been around for thousands of years. It's an Ayurveda plant, and adaptogenic means it will help your body whether you feel sad or stressed or nervous. It just brings you into balance. And so that's why I love it, because it doesn't push anything too hard. It doesn't make you feel sleepy, or it doesn't make you get all peppy. It just helps you equal out. And then I took the Angziocalm, which the Angziocalm is a cannabinoid, but it's from the echinacea plant, not from hemp or marijuana. And the cannabinoids go to these receptor sites. When these receptor sites are like settled and filled, you feel contentment. So that anxious part of like, when am I going to open? When am I going to open? That repeating, like, oh, right, that drills in your head. It helped calm that down almost 80%. I'm going to say by the time I got in the car, yeah, I was thinking about it and I wasn't like feeling joyful, but I definitely wasn't feeling angry or sad. I was just okay. So these are things that if you feel tempted to grab something that might have side effects, give these things a try, right? And Terry naturally, everyone in Port St. Lucie will see this soon. I love his line. I have so many of his products. They all are studied, and they're all money back guarantee. So why not try them? I mean, it's better than dealing with side effects. And some of these side effects are really scary, especially for mental health.
Yes.
So definitely give it a try. But I was really also wanted to do a quick like little info commercial about our detox days. So
Ooh.
we have been lucky that the summer has been really busy. So we are doing well, but I want to really point out for detox days, a detox day at our wellness center is a massage and 2 other services. So you can pick the sound bed, which also has pulse electromagnetic frequency. So you talk about changing a state of mind, it's incredible. Infrared sauna and the ion foot detox by a major difference. And so you get an extreme value. It's like a $40 savings with the detox day. It's $99 per person. But you can come in with a group of about 3 or 4 and do these detox days all together, because I have 2 massage therapists now. So now we can do 2 massages at a time. Before, you used to have to be there for hours. But now, 2 people can be in the sauna together. It's actually a 3-person sauna, so very large. A couple of people can get a massage. It's a great activity. So if you need a break, and you just want to really help your body feel like a different state, then the detox days are super economical. I really mentioned, like, if you look at other cities that offer these services, you are talking about $300 or more per person for what we're offering for just $99. We really want people to experience it. And the sound bed, because of the summer, well, I can't say summer anymore, can I? Because this was Labor Day, right?
Almost fall.
It's almost fall. Okay. So one session that you pay for $35, it's a 21-minute sound bed experience. But if there's no one booked behind you, which we usually on our booking system, it clocks out an hour for you. You can do up to 3 different sound programs, and when you do all 3 together, boy, you leave floating. It's incredible. Like, one is called Awakening, and then Water of Life, and then Unconditional Love. It's just really, and then they have a weight loss one, which the weight loss, oh my gosh, it's kind of cool. You sound like you're in a thunderstorm, and I know a lot of people enjoy this, but it's cool. You feel like you're immersed in it, like the water is like hitting you.
Sounds like it feels like you're in an MRI or something.
It's cool. Well, not as scary, at least to me. Yeah, it feels really, really good. So I definitely want to emphasize that some people are like, oh, a new wellness center, or what's in there? Those machines are different, or I've never heard of them. But bring someone if it feels more comfortable. Our massage therapists have so much experience. Mary Ann's been doing this over 30 years, and then Jess has been doing it forever too. I think she's like 15 years. And if you look in her room, she has sound bowls, she has cupping, she does aromatherapy. She has a lot of cool stuff. So both of them are incredible. And we're trying to meet anyone's needs with the 2 of them together. So, yeah, definitely check that out. Really good deal. Ooh, wow.
Covered a lot of
Yes.
territory so far this
Right? I did. I was just like thinking like all the different things that I love to talk about. But oh, okay. So it's the time. All right. So everyone, I really appreciate all my listeners. Thank you so much for spending the morning with me. And I look forward to being back next week.
Thank you, Joanne. Joanne's World of Nutrition from Nutrition World, with a new 2nd location in Port Saint Lucie, scheduled to open somewhere around the 16th of September. That's just 20 days from today, the 14th. This is WPSL Port Saint Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast, webcaster to the world, where the time is 11 o'clock.